These are my delicious mead fermented chestnuts covered in homemade bean-to-bar chocolate, and I would love to show you how I make them. Cook your chestnuts. You can roast or boil them. I'm roasting mine here. Make sure that you score them beforehand so they don't burst. I will put these in our oven at 180°C, which is 355°F, for 25 to 30 minutes. Once they're cooked, shell them, trying to keep as many of them as whole as you can. Then choose your spices. Here I've got clove, cinnamon stick, cardamom and star anise. Put your chestnuts in a clean jar and add your spices throughout. Then create a mix of 50-50 by weight honey and water. Ideally the honey would be unpasteurised. I'm using 50 grams of each here. And pour that honey water mixture over your chestnuts. This is how my jar looks from the top. So these are my fermenting chestnuts after about a week. You can see this layer of bubbling. It's quite active. You can see the bubbles there. That's some star anise. The smell is amazing. It's chestnut honey and it's smelling so rich and deep. This is what the top looks like. Lots of cardamom and star anise and some chestnuts and the honey and a few bubbles. So these are my fermented chestnuts. Those ones came out whole. These ones have broken up. They were in a honey spiced mixture, which basically is a mead now, and they taste deliciously of mead. And I am going to cover these big ones in chocolate, and then I think I'm going to make a bar of chocolate and put these broken up ones inside. And here's the chocolate that I'm going to cover them in, just melting over bain-marie. This is home roasted cacao beans, which I've shelled and then I've ground up, and now I'm gently melting so I can make them into a paste. So I'm going to take one of the fermented chestnuts and pop it into my chocolate, which is cacao beans that I roasted myself. I've also got a little bit of cacao butter and coconut oil in here, just to make it a little bit softer. And then I cover the chestnut in the chocolate. Just move it around so there's not too much excess on, although a little bit of excess is always a pleasure. There we go. And then pop it over here and let it set. So here are all the pieces of fermented chestnut just resting in some molten chocolate, and I'm about to top them up and cover them in chocolate completely. Here are some of the finished chocolate covered fermented chestnuts. You can see they've got that kind of stone ground texture to the chocolate because it's bean to bar with no special equipment. And I just ate half of one, which was delicious, to show you kind of how they look inside. The chestnut really tastes alcoholic, kind of honey, brandy kind of flavour, and then the delicious kind of soft squidginess of it and the chocolate around the outside. It's really wonderful. I wish you could taste. So these are the finished crumblies of the fermented chestnuts that have been made, covered in 100% cacao chocolate. If you look underneath, you can kind of see a giveaway that there's some fermented chestnut bits in there. And then if I bite into one and show you inside, you can see the kind of deep, dark fondant chocolate with those delicious mead infused fermented chestnut bits inside. And then here we have a really unexpected success. This is just a flat bar with the remains of the fermented chestnuts I had. I used an old Lindt chocolate bar tray to mould it into, so it's really clean and clear on the other side. And then this, when you break off a bit, snap off a bit, will have all that delicious mead chestnut in it.